March has been weird. After a fantastic February of running, this month has hit back with relentless rain and a workload that seems determined to consume every waking second. My March 150-kilometre challenge? Let's just say things aren't looking great. Until this weekend, my grand total was a rather embarrassing 8.5 kilometres from a Font Roger hill climb. Not exactly elite marathon training. Thankfully, yesterday I added another 22 kilometres. So, yeah, progress. The downside? An old injury in my left leg decided to remind me that it exists. So, naturally, I considered taking a rest day. A rest day? Ha! That's for losers, right? Enter Mrs. Hamster. She had a lovely, relaxing Sunday brunch planned by the seaside in Gandia. Her idea? I run up and down the promenade like a sensible human. My idea? Well, I compromised, which in my world means limping my way through a 14-kilometre run between Playa Gandia and Gandia while she enjoyed coffee and croissants with a sea view. What could possibly go wrong? So, while Mrs. Hamster and Carmen, one of our dogs, embarked on an exciting quest to conquer the Sunday market, I set off from the main car park in Playa Gandia, ready for what was technically a run, but realistically more of a determined limp. The town centre was eerily quiet, probably because everyone else was sensibly enjoying a leisurely Sunday morning rather than gallivanting around on tired legs. I cruised past the port and over the fancy new bridge spanning the Rio Serpis, feeling momentarily impressed by how modern Gandia can look when you're not gasping for breath. Then, in a rare moment of genius, I remembered that I had downloaded some running podcasts. Who better to keep me company than Paula Radcliffe, an absolute legend, and Chris Thompson? The episode I listened to also featured Dr. Steve Peters discussing mindset and how to keep your inner chimp from throwing a tantrum mid-race. Excellent stuff. Meanwhile, in the real world, I followed a relatively new road past the shopping and cinema complex, then onwards past the hospital where I was treated to the most incredible fresh bread smell from the massive bakery nearby. Honestly, I almost abandoned the run right there in favour of a carb-loading session. Eventually, I reached the main roundabout leading to Oliva and the N332 highway, but realising that civilization as I knew it ended there, I turned back towards Gandia. I made a failed attempt to locate the elusive Greenway near the hospital, which would have provided a much more scenic run. However, I had to retrace my steps through the cinema area. Not ideal, but at least it was straightforward. Passing the Media Market shopping centre, closed of course. It's a Sunday and in Spain everything is closed. I crossed another River Serpis bridge and aimed for home. I did briefly consider checking out a festival in the distance, but let's be real. Curiosity takes a back seat when you're running low on energy. The final stretch back to Playa Gandia was a nice flat cruise, though the increasing road traffic added a delightful soundtrack of honking horns, revving engines. Back at the seafront, I passed the still bustling market and took a moment to appreciate that the beach was finally debris-free after the major floods late last year. It may have taken a time, but hey, better late than never. And with that, it was officially café con leche o'clock, ideally accompanied by a burger and chips. Priorities, right? So, was today's run a stroke of genius or a slightly questionable life choice? Honestly, probably a bit of both. But with the 150-kilometre challenge looming, there's no time to second guess. Kilometres need to be logged, legs need to be kept moving, and questionable route choices need to be made. Surprisingly, my legs held up okay, and the podcast was a total game changer. Definitely need to finish the rest of those episodes. If nothing else, they're a welcome distraction from my ongoing debate about whether this challenge is actually doable or if I'm just setting myself up for an epic struggle. At this stage, I'd say it's just about possible, but it's not going to be a walk in the park unless I start power walking the final few kilometres out of sheer desperation. The good news? The weather has finally decided to behave, at least temporarily, so I'll take advantage of it while I can. If I can sneak in a cheeky 6-kilometre run this evening, I'll hit 50 kilometres by the end of the weekend. That would definitely make things look a little bit less terrifying. Coming up next, a 9-kilometre night run around El Palomar. Because apparently running in the dark through a village is just my kind of thing now. Should be interesting, to say the least. Oh, and as a final note, while the run may have been a bit of a grind, the post-run burger? Spot on. 10 out of 10. No notes, though. If you've actually made it this far to the end of the video, congratulations. That's awesome. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow runners.